guys, it's Daishira. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. So in today's video, as you can tell by the title and also the thumbnail, I guess, but mostly the title, I'm going to be doing like an updated foundation routine, or like a 2020 foundation routine. So I have never been that great at like foundation back before. So I never really liked my foundation routine like back before, but recently I feel like I have kind of like got a foundation routine that I really like. So well, with the like inexpensive products that I have, that's another thing that I really like about my foundation routine, is that it's really like inexpensive. So yeah, I just recently found a foundation routine, like I said, that I really like, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. I never did a foundation routine on this channel before because like I said, my skin routine was garbage. So now I really like it. So yeah, I guess if you want to see my 2020 did I say skincare or did I say foundation? If you want to see my 2020 foundation routine, then just keep on watching. Okay, so I did my eyebrows and I just put on a little bit of eyeshadow, not a little bit, but like I really like this eyeshadow just because I don't know, I was just feeling it, and it's pink because I was just feeling pinky today. So yeah, so before I did my eyebrows and eyeshadow, I just sprayed some MAC Fix Plus or MAC Prep and Prime spray because I like to just like hydrate my skin a little bit more, and I like to spray it before I do my eyeshadow because I don't know, I just like it to be before I do it. So now I'm gonna do the rest of my primer. So usually I'll do like three primers. So either I'll use the MAC Fix Plus, which is what I've been doing recently because it gives me a really nice hydrating finish, or I'll use the Makeup Revolution Pro Base Aqua Priming Mist Aqua Priming Base. And then next I'll take the Makeup Revolution Glass Skin Primer. I think I said this in another video, but if you don't like kind of like that oily type finish, it'll go away once you put on foundation and stuff, but as of right now, like when you first apply it, it has that oily finish. If you don't like that, I wouldn't recommend it because it definitely has it. Like as you can see right when I put it on, it kind of has that oily, but like it feels very hydrating finish, if you know what I mean. So we're just gonna put that on, and then next we're gonna take the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, which I love, and I'm just gonna basically put that on my finger, and I kind of focus it a good amount on my nose and on the sides of my nose. I'm gonna also just put it everywhere else on my face as well because I kind of feel like I have pores all over my face. So, and it just makes it very smooth. So I used to think primer wasn't important at all, but primer is very important. I don't know if this was the best time to do this. I mean my skin looks pretty good, IMO, but I'm kind of breaking out a little bit. So do you guys know that like a minute, like washing your face for a minute, I found that on, I don't think it was like TikTok or anything, like a while ago I seen it on some social media site, and like I started doing it and my skin has been looking really good. But I think I read somewhere that like once you start getting it, you will get like little breakouts. I don't know why, maybe like just your skin like purifying or something, but yeah, but other than that, it looks pretty good. But okay, so now that I have my primers, the next thing that I'm going to be using is my foundation, obviously. So I'm going to be taking Maybelline Fit Me foundation. This was y'all know this is an oldie but a goodie. I also just recently got back in love with it. I used to mix it with this other foundation, but I've been using it on its own recently and I've been loving it, and this is in the shade 334. And I sometimes mix it a little bit with like a darker concealer because it's not always my right shade. So I usually mix it with the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Beautiful Bronze. So I just take this and this and put it on kind of like a palette and mix it. So I put a dab of foundation and then I just put a little bit of the concealer in with it. If I had a darker foundation, then I would just do that, but I don't. I actually don't really know if I would do another foundation just because I feel like concealer is less, like a little bit less pigmentation. So then I kind of apply my foundation weirdly, I think, like in a way that I do it with a brush. I guess it's not weird, but like not as normal as like other people that I've seen. So I'll mix those two and then I'll just apply my foundation. And I like to do the upper half of my face first, just because I don't want it to dry down. I think I used to use, which I still love this foundation, the Fenty foundation. I'm just gonna put a little bit more of the LA Girl Pro Concealer into it because I feel like it's still a little bit light. The Fenty foundation, which I love, and also the Juvia's Place foundation, they both dry down pretty quickly and matte. So I just learned to like do the upper half of my face first. So that's just like what I've learned to do. And I'm gonna take this Morphe sponge, which I really like. It has like the slanted end, so it gets right up in there under the eye. I really want to start trying to like color correct, because as you can see I have like some hyperpigmentation there, and I have some like acne scarring and stuff, so I just want to like get that. But as of right now I don't do that. I need to find a good inexpensive because y'all know I like a good deal, inexpensive color correcting palette. So if you guys have any recommendations, leave it in the comments because I have been looking. And okay, so another thing that I kind of do, I guess I don't do, as you can see it's still a little bit light, but we're gonna fix that with like contour, like cream bronzer. I don't really necessarily take it too far up on my forehead. I just like tap that out so it blends out, but like sometimes I just ignore it altogether, honestly, because I don't really necessarily like foundation on my forehead that much. Because look at, first of all, I have the biggest forehead known to mankind. But basically, okay, so now I'm gonna put on the rest of my foundation on the lower half of my face. Sometimes I go back and forth about what I do first, but if I remember, like if I consciously tell myself to do my cream bronzer, I like to call it cream bronzer because I kind of blend it out and make it look, bring the color back, not like contour, then I'll do it first because I like the concealer to be like kind of blended into it, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna take the Fenty Beauty Matchstick in the shade Truffle, and I just spray that with some Fix Plus. And I just put it basically here, and I do like, I feel like it looks like a good amount, and I also do like here, and it looks like I put a pretty good amount, but this blends out really beautifully, and you can like build it up and stuff. That's why I really like the matchstick. And I will usually blend it out with this Morphe kind of like angled brush, and I just blend it upwards. You see how it just brings that really pretty like color back into my face. I'm going to take my concealer. So I have been going back and forth with these two concealers. They both look really good with this foundation combination and stuff, in my opinion. So if you guys know, if you have been watching my channel for a good amount of time, I love the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer. And I also love Juvia's Place, and like have been using their concealer as well, which is the Juvia's Place concealer in the shade 16, and that's the one I'm going to use today, just because I have been really liking the way it lays and blends out. So I just do kind of like that. I've been doing this and on my chin. Yeah, I used to think that was like useless when like I would watch videos of people doing it, but it actually makes a difference in my opinion. Down here, I don't know, it just adds like a little something, and it looks crazy there, but it'll get better. And sometimes if something looks too intense, I'll take that foundation brush and just go around the edges just to like blend out the edges. I usually take a concealer over my nose. I don't know why I do that. I've always done that. I think I like it all to look like together in this part. So I've been liking a pretty matte face. So if sometimes I want a little bit of highlight, I'll do a liquid highlight. I haven't been liking powder highlight, but we're gonna skip that part as well, just because I kind of want a matte face. I've been in love with like a matte face has just been like my vibe recently. So now I'm gonna set that concealer in the rest of the face with the Makeup Revolution Luxury Powder in the shade Banana. I also feel like that Makeup Revolution powder goes really well with that Juvia's Place concealer. Like the shade of it just looks really beautiful with that banana powder on top. So first I kind of just focus it on like the places where I put the concealer, just to make sure I don't like miss anything, if that makes sense. I also pay a little bit of extra attention around my nose because that's a big creasy part for me, and also around my mouth. Obviously everyone creases like around those places. Now we're gonna move on to bronzing even more. I'm gonna take, this isn't my, I mean I like it and it's broken, so like the pigment is very intense, but it's not my favorite for bronzing, so I'm trying to look for a new bronzer. And I think the reason why it's not my favorite is because it's a powder foundation, not like a bronzer. So sometimes it can be really intense. So I'm just gonna take the NYX Hydra Touch powder foundation in the shade Cocoa, and I do think that this would be a really nice powder foundation, like if I got my shade and stuff. But for bronzing it's still a little bit intense, but I've learned to like how to use it and stuff, like, so yeah. And I really do like the formula of it for that reason, but especially since mine is broken, it's just very intense and you have to like be careful so it doesn't look very crazy, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna take this brush, which is just like a non-name brand brush, but it's like a fluffy brush. I'm gonna dip into that and look at all that on the brush, and tap it off a lot. And basically I'm just gonna start putting it where I put that cream bronzer and just blend it out. See? And also it still looks a little bit crazy, but it'll look better once we put on like setting spray and stuff, but that's kind of like the look that I like. Okay, and then now we're gonna move on to blush, and this has been my fave blush for a long time. I don't know if it's because like this is the blush that I used when I started getting into blush, not like back in the day, like I literally started getting into blush like this year, beginning of end of last year, beginning of this year. But I also really like how you can just, it's just so pretty and it's buildable and stuff. So this is a Tarte blush in the shade Party, and oh my god, I just literally love this blush. Okay, so I take this on a BH Cosmetics brush. I don't know what number it is because it wiped off. I'm just gonna take that, I'm just gonna put it basically where I would put blush, and I just think that it just adds, oh my god, I just love blush. And it's crazy because I have literally been sleeping on blush for so long. Blush, I'm sorry. And I also put it on my nose just because like I'm one of those girls who do that. But like look how like pretty it is. It's not too intense, you just get that little bit of like pink color, but it just adds, especially if you're doing like a full matte face. Oh my goodness, that blush is just so beautiful. I love it. And sometimes I'll even put it like on my Cupid's bow. It's just so cute and adds color. I love that. Okay, so even though I have not been doing what am I gonna say, highlighter, I will take like some highlighter and put it on my Cupid's bow and like on my nose and my brow bone. That's just something that like I can't resist, especially on the Cupid's bow. I love a Cupid's bow highlighter. So the palette that I have in front of me, I love this palette, is the Cover FX Perfect Highlighting Palette. And I'm just gonna take that, and I'm gonna take the shade Rose Gold and Gilded and mix those together and put that on my Cupid's bow. And I'm gonna keep it a bean. I like it to be pretty intense on my Cupid's bow. And then I'm also gonna put a little dot on my nose and blend it out with my finger. And then under my brow bone. It's just so cute. And I'm also gonna take that same palette and take Prism, which is like a white shade, and put it in my inner corner. Look at that. It just really opens up the eye and like brings that really pretty Bro, I love it. Okay. Okay, oh, okay, so something that else that recently that I have been doing that I would always like sleep on is, so I'm gonna take some more of that banana powder, and this brush is fire for this. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take the flat side, and I'm basically gonna do that thing that people like hate, and I'm gonna cut my bronzer, but just like up here. So I just do it a little bit up here. I don't know what it does. I feel like it just like sharpens it up, and like I don't know, I just love it. But I don't do it, I actually never really do it this far down. I don't know what I'm doing today, but I usually will just stop it right here and just have this, and it'll look less intense once I put on like setting spray and stuff. But it's just so okay. So if I'm being honest, this is usually how I like it to look. This is a little bit more intense, but like I said, we'll fix it. But like, I don't know, it's just been like something that I've been loving doing recently. I just feel like it looks so cute. So I'm gonna do setting spray. I'll usually do like a MAC. I know this isn't technically a setting spray, but I'll do like a MAC Prep and Prime just because it makes it so hydrating after. And like, to let it dry, I'll take a little fan. I definitely recommend taking like a fan, or like just like a piece of paper, or like one of those hand fans to like fan yourself, because just the way that it dries down when you're like drying it, if that makes sense, is just such a pretty hydrating finish. So I'm just gonna take the I keep saying Max, the MAC Prep and Prime spray, and prime with this. Okay, so after I put on my setting spray, I just went on camera and did like a nude lip, and this is the foundation. I think I'm gonna do a little zoomy zoom for you guys so you can really see just how, I'm gonna keep it a buck, how bomb this foundation routine is. It is a little like full coverage, like it's a very full coverage routine, but I love it. So let me do a zoom. Okay, so this is the finished base. I literally am so, you see how this isn't as intense anymore. It's a little bit intense over here. So I'm gonna show you guys a little trick. If it's intense, take your beauty sponge and take some of your setting spray and basically just tap it into it, and it makes it a little bit less intense. So yeah, this is my finished foundation routine. I really like it. I'm just comparing it to my old foundation routine, which wasn't nothing at all. It was really bad. But yeah, I really love this foundation routine. I would definitely recommend trying it, especially if you like inexpensive products, because they're all pretty inexpensive, but stuff that still gives you a pretty good result. Like, in my opinion, this is like high quality stuff, like, but that's just me. Also, can we get into this eyeshadow, because I really did that. Okay, but yeah, I really like this. I hope you guys definitely try it out because it's fire. Like, can you guys see, like, who's checking me for my base, period. This is just such a like difference from my old base. I think that's also why I'm like, this is amazing, even if it's not like the best. Like, I think it's really good compared to my old base, because my old base was like flaky, like not crusty, but like it would crease everywhere, and it would just have those, you know how like when you have a foundation and a powder that don't really mix, it leaves those little flaky, like, if you do makeup, you know what I'm talking about. If you're like really keen on like blending stuff out, you know what I'm talking about. But like, yeah, it just leaves that really nasty like separation. And I also think that this bronzer contour, I don't like to call it contour because it's not contour, it's just like adding some color back in the face, makes it look even more like top tier. And like, you see how like I don't have on highlighter, but it still has that hydration to the skin. That is all like those primers and the Fix Plus and like the foundation, everything together just makes this really pretty finish that's good for summer, winter. Like, it's not too dry for winter, it's not too like gonna melt off your face. But if you are doing this in the summer, I definitely would recommend getting like a more tough setting spray, because Fix Plus is just like, I mean, it's Fix Plus, it's setting spray as well, but it's not like gonna do that hold, you know what I mean? But yeah, so this is the finished base. So I really liked filming this video because, like I said before, I was just like, I honestly thought it was a lost cause for me being good at base, and I was like, oh well, I like how I do my eyeshadow, so having a base that looks good to me isn't that big of a deal. But like, no, if you feel like you're having trouble with your base, first of all, definitely try primer, because I used to not do primer and I was like, why does this look so like just like separating and like just not good? Definitely try a primer and a setting spray. Those were two things that like I was neglecting before. I know it sounds literally ridiculous. Another thing, if you feel like your base doesn't look good, try wetting your sponge if you don't. I know this sounds ridiculous, but these were all things that I did like, or I guess didn't do before. And then if you are doing those things and your base still isn't how you want it to be, just definitely try out new things. Just take your time, because like I think another reason is I used to rush, and like sometimes things take a little bit more time just to like get everything blended together. And also definitely take recommendations from other people, because every time I would hear someone recommend something, I'd be like, that ain't gonna work for me. It just might work for you. So keep all those things in mind if you want a better base. Like I said, not saying mine is top tier, but it's definitely, I wish I had an old video to compare, but I literally just knew that my foundation routine was crap, so I never even filmed a video. But I wish I had a video to compare, because like I said, it's not the top tier. I mean, I think it's good, but it's not like the best of like I've ever seen of anybody who ever does makeup, but it's definitely a step up from what I used to do. So yeah, just take all those things into consideration if you're trying to do a better, if you're trying to build a better base, period. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Comment down below, what did I say earlier? Oh, a good color correcting. Comment down below how you fixed your base, how you built a better base if you were having problems, just to give people some tips. Turn on my post notifications to be notified every time that I upload. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Who's checking for this base? Period.